video games that come out, which I play Fortnite every night, which I got internet, Wi-Fi, and ain't none of y'all got a plan. You have a plan? I respect you for that. How many of y'all read a book over the summer? What book you read? What book did you read? You don't know the name of the book, but you can Google anything, all right? What book did you read? What was it called? Y'all need to be reading, fellas. You want to play college ball, don't you? You think a coach is going to come to you and say, I want to give you a full ride scholarship, and you can't even read? You got an 8th grade reading level in 12th grade? That's not going to happen, fellas. No coach, no matter how much talent y'all got, no matter what type of cell phone you got, what type of shoes you wearing, you can't read, you can't pass the test for a $900. Nobody will give you the time of day. You can be talented, you can dunk on somebody, you can cross over LeBron, but they won't give you the time of day. I need everybody in here by Friday to have a plan. I don't care if you're in school or you're not in school. You can buy snacks, can't you? Right? You buy enough snacks, right? You sure? You need a planner too. Period. Everybody needs to stay organized over the summer. Champions are built in the summertime and off season. Whenever you're not working, somebody is working. And whenever you're not practicing, somebody in this world is practicing. So when you play them, they are ready for you. They was ready last summer. So, Robert, y'all can play around and text all y'all want to, but essentially, you're a young man. You gotta start respecting yourself, period. It won't be long until who gonna pay that phone bill? You? You think you gonna pay that phone bill? Not if you don't have a job. So y'all can play around, y'all can have all the fun y'all want to. Have a pink cell phone and a nice backpack. But one day you're gonna be paying that phone bill. So y'all need to grow up as young men. If it's one thing that y'all learned out of anything, y'all need to learn respect. Y'all need to listen. Because some of y'all don't know what either one is. Y'all hanging around because what y'all want some pizza? Look, you laughing, but it's true. All right, fellas, I got somebody here to speak with y'all. Please give him your divided attention.
Undivided.
Have a seat, fellas. Have a seat. 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 Yes, sir.
All right, I see a couple young ladies in here, so y'all might have to excuse me for if I use a little tough language. Why don't y'all come in here, man, so I don't have to feel like I'm spinning around in circles while I'm talking. Come on in, fellas, come on in. It ain't that big of a crowd, and y'all all been hooping. That just showed me y'all don't want to play no defense if y'all don't know how to get close to each other. All right, so my name is Shamar Herron. Good evening. I said, my name is Shamar Herron. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. I'm only be able to give you the energy you give me, so I know what it is right now is playing it cool. I get it. I work with people about your age. How many of y'all are 16? 17. So everybody in here is basically under 18? All right. I want to make sure I speak y'all language. I don't want to get in here and start talking about things that aren't relevant to your life. Now, I may not know all of the most up-to-date terms, but I got a 15-year-old daughter, I got an 18-year-old daughter, but I don't have any sons, so I don't know what you cats talk about. I have to assume I know, though, because things haven't changed that much. I'm currently the deputy director of Michigan Works, which is a place where you go to learn how to stay employed. Not just get employed, but stay employed. I also played basketball at Ohio State, went to the Final Four, so I know a little bit about the game. But what my brother Jarvis was talking about is spot on. So I was a top 50 player in the country. I graduated in 1997. Wasn't none of y'all a twinkle in your parents' eye at that point. Maybe Mr. Emmanuel was, because he getting old like me. But things haven't changed that much. And what Jarvis was saying about these coaches recruiting you, I need you to know something. They don't just look at you when you're a senior. They look at you nowadays, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So I used to work with a program called First Team, where the NBA and the NC2A got together, and we would go out and look for cats like you. Anybody heard of a guy named Kyrie Irving? One of my recruits. Believe it or not. Anybody heard of Greg Oden? All right, see, y'all got to start to be scholars of the game. You can't just look at who's playing now. Who knows who were the top 5 draft picks last year? Top 5. You know them all. Who? You got to speak up, bro. I think Tatum was 7. He was 3? All right, my bad. De'Aaron Fox. It doesn't matter. Here's what's up. You all have to study the game. You have to focus in on something, right? Right? Bro, right? You got to focus. Because these coaches, on average, a college scholarship is about $150,000 a year. How much is that over 4 years? See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Do the math. $150,000 times 2 is $300,000. Times 2 is $600,000. They about to put $1 million into a young person. And you best believe they're not going to make a poor investment. Anybody heard of investing? Y'all think about stocks, right? Playing the stock market, maybe a 401k or a 401b. No. These colleges do their research. When I was getting recruited in 1995, 96, 97, they were talking to my middle school teachers. They wanted to know how I behaved when I was in middle school. So we're going to talk about the grade aspect of it. So Jarvis talked about reading books. Long gone are the days where a college is going to recruit you and you're not getting your scores. If you don't have the grades and the scores, there's a million folks out here who can cross over. There's a million cats that can drop step. And not only here in America, you're competing against guys in Mumbai, India. Shenzhou, China. So if you think your competition is at Huron or at Skyline, you're kidding yourself. It's a global game now. Think about it. Think about some of the players that's playing right now. Many of them, half of us can't pronounce their names, right? But they're in the league. How does that happen? These scouts aren't just looking for a pretty crossover. They're looking for ethic, work ethic. How many of you heard of that? Who knows what Kobe Bryant's rule of 10,000 is? Give it a shot. I encourage you to try. Don't try and be cute for these other folks, bro.
I don't know.
All right. Kobe Bryant says you have to put 10,000 hours in to become a professional at something. That's 4 to 6 hours every day. And I'm not talking about just fucking around. You're in there breaking a sweat. So Kobe Bryant would say he'd get up at 5 a.m., eat a very light breakfast, and go work on ball handling from 6 to 8 a.m. Then from 8 to 10, he worked on weights. He'd go have some breakfast, go have some lunch, go run some errands, come back to the gym, do another 2 hours of specific moves. So did anybody see that game where LeBron hit that shot off the backboard to win the game against, was it Indiana?
No, that was
It was the 76ers or Indiana? Game 6 against the Raptors? It was Indiana. And he drove baseline and hit it off the backboard. I don't care who it was against. I don't keep up like that anymore, to be honest with you. Basketball doesn't rule my world, and it never really ruled my world. I became a balanced person. But LeBron said that shot wasn't a mistake. He said he works on that. That's why it looked flawless when he shot it. The rule of 10,000. So some of y'all are chasing girls 4 to 6 hours a day. What will that make you, a professional what? Some of y'all might be rolling up 3-4 times a day. What is that going to make you a professional in? You're going to have to start to get focused on what it is you want to be. And I know some of y'all are like, dang, I'm only 12. It starts at 12. At 12, I would shovel my driveway and work on my game. It's part of it. Fingertip push-ups. It's cool. Some people, you may look up in life and be like, damn, what was big fella trying to tell me back in 2018? Oh, man, these phones, they're the worst addiction you can have right about now. Because you're not picking up physical books and reading, and you're living in a fantasy world, a world that really don't exist, a world where somebody could be giving you knowledge, and you on your phone. And you done probably missed the biggest blessing of the day because you on the phone, Snapchatting, Facebook, and tweeting, whatever it is y'all do. I don't care. I'm not one of those people who say, I got mine. If you get yours, oh well. Sit up, bro. Here's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Life is about balance. It's about balance. Is there somebody out here everybody would agree is the best? And I tell you what, man, I'm hearing all of these dudes smacking their lips. I thought that's what the young ladies did. I'm just saying. So is there somebody out here that everybody can agree is the best player in this league? Is this EBWL? Who's the coldest in here? Y'all not willing to give somebody their props? You are? No, I'm looking for somebody else to say he is. Yeah, well, you got to speak up. I'm going to give y'all 3 words. And I guarantee, is this the last session? Friday is the last session. I'll bring the $50 to the person who can remember this. Articulation, intonation, and pitch. Articulation is how you use your words and using your words. Intonation is how you say it. You ever heard somebody say, watch your tone? Pitch is whether or not you're talking at the top of your shoes. Like, that's not going to get it. At a certain point, you have to have some confidence in yourself. What's your name? Armani, stand up. Huh? Oh, I already said them. Come here. Jarvis, come here for a second. I'm going to show y'all a little experiment, all right? Armani. We talked about balance, right? 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 I want you to try and balance yourself on this ball. Let's make sure he don't break his neck. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, step down. balance yourself on these? Which one was easier? Say it again. So I say all of that to say this. It's better for you to build your foundation on this than this. You got a better shot at life basing it off of these than off of this. You can't be a one-trick pony. Thanks, Armani. You're the first person I've ever seen balance themselves on that basketball. Straight up. So he might be the coldest. But here's what's up. None of it matters if you're not giving yourself a chance. So when I'm talking about balance and foundation, I'm saying in the right things. It's okay to read a book, right, Jarvis? I'll give you a great book to read, and it's around this sport. Phil Jackson, Hardwood Warriors. One of the best books I've ever read. Phil Jackson, 11 Rings. Those are two books right there that keep you in pace with your game, but it also gives you insight into what makes a champion. Phil Jackson has 11 championship rings, 2 as a player, 9 as a coach. The mathematics are simple, but if you don't have education, it's going to be very hard to soar. And then you're going to find yourself in a position, if you don't invest in yourself up here, because you can do all the triangle push-ups, fingertip push-ups, squats, dips. You can do all of that. But if you don't have the mind power and the will, it's going to fly out the window. What's crucially important is that you invest in yourself. I'm not saying ignore your fellow brother or sister, but I'm saying you have to focus on yourself. It's hard to help other people if you're not helping yourself. How many of y'all know how to swim? You ever had to save somebody who you felt was drowning? Is it easy? They could drown you, right? And it's no different in life. It's going to be hard to help somebody if you haven't built yourself up. It's going to be hard to give somebody $50 if you don't have $50. Right? Is that a fair statement? So part of my job is to work with young people and not so young people who are between the ages of 16 and up. And what I often find that the people say when they're either looking for work or trying to get help with their education is, man, if I knew then what I know now. You heard somebody say that? Man, if I only knew that then, man, I probably wouldn't have made that mistake. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge is to know. Wisdom is to live and grow and continue to learn. And understanding is putting thought into what you now know and applying it. If you can work on those 3 things, you'll have a full, healthy life. It's more than basketball in the world. The world don't need any more basketball players. It doesn't. What the world needs is more good people. People who are willing to help each other out. People, when somebody in your class slip and fall, you don't laugh at them. You reach a hand out to try and help them. That's what the world needs. It's slightly utter chaos in our world right now. And it's your generation that's going to fix it. I look in all of you all's eyes, all of you who are paying attention, because many of you aren't paying attention. That phone, who's heard of evolution? Have you learned about evolution? What can you say about evolution? You got to speak up. Give me a little more volume. Changing. Evolution says, if you believe in it, that over time you will adapt to your circumstances. They said giraffes used to have necks like horses, But all of the vegetation was up here, so they started to grow their neck longer in order to reach the vegetation. Some folks say man started out as an ape-like being, and we've evolved into who we are now. Now we build airplanes and find cures for diseases. Shamar's theory on evolution is not your children, but potentially your children's children will have curved necks. That's what I say, because every time I look down, everybody like this. Everybody like this. Evolution says, Emmanuel, do you remember what I talked to you about? Was it last week about your foot, your Achilles?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
What did I say?
Said if I don't do the exercises correctly, my foot will not heal correctly, and I'll have to get surgery again. And that will happen to people. So if I'm not doing anything to do as far as physical therapy, I'm walking right now. When I take my boot off, I'll still be walking like that. I won't have a normal walk anymore.
If you don't, thank you. If you don't condition yourself to be a critical thinker, life is going to bite you in the ass. If you, and I won't even go as far as outside of these doors. I'll talk about right here in the game. If you continue to dribble into the corner and get trapped, and you never fix that, you've put yourself in a place where you won't be in anybody's game. Because when the pressure's on, the trap is coming. That's what I'm talking about. Don't let basketball use you. Use basketball. This is just a means to an end. I'm not telling you none of y'all getting scholarships and y'all ain't this and y'all ain't. I'm not here to say that. I'm here to say you have a better chance of becoming a U.S. Senator than an NBA basketball player. Anybody know who their U.S. Senator is? Any guesses? No. I don't want to go into politics. You got Debbie Stabenow, and you got Gary Peters. Those are your two U.S. senators in the state of Michigan. You have a better chance of being one of them than LeBron, Kyrie, I don't know, Ben Simmons. There's only so many spots on NBA rosters. Now, you might be able to go over to Europe, but those are year-by-year contracts, and it gets fickle. And you can only have 2 players on each foreign team roster. Think about the millions of people that play basketball. So it's better to start to build this foundation, because it's going to take you further. Again, the world doesn't need more basketball players. If they cut the game of basketball out, the world will still keep spinning. But we're going to start to have some real issues in a minute if we don't start educating folks like you on recycling. I know it sounds a little whack, but we're running out of places to put our garbage. They cracking open and cutting open wells and they're full of garbage. That's what they're eating because it's floating out in the sea. Our planet's temperature is steadily rising. Something that simple is going to affect your children. It's going to affect you as well, but it's going to affect your children and your children's children. It's called generational. So what work are y'all going to put in to make the world a better place? Because putting the ball in the basket only going to do so much. So I got about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to take some questions, and I'm going to wrap it up.
And as you guys are doing questions, we'll come around and get y'all pizza, all right?
So I went to Ohio State, played a lot my freshman year. Well, let me back it up. Top 50 player, was getting recruited all over the country. It was between Michigan State, Ohio State, and Cal Berkeley. I was an easy recruit because I had the grades and the test scores. I wasn't the best player. It took me till I was 30 to admit I was only okay. I thought I was the man. But if I was the man, I would have been elsewhere. 6'9", 250, 35-inch vertical, maxing out at 315 on the bench. I was doing all right. But I got to Ohio State and everybody was 6'9", 250, 35-inch vertical, maxing out at 415. It's other cats out here working. And they're focusing on a well-rounded life so that if anything happens, they put their Achilles snaps, MCL, ACL, any of that happens, they can still live a full life. So I got recruited to Ohio State. The coach got fired while I was a senior. I had already signed my letter of intent. The school said, we're not letting you go. So I went to Ohio State, played for a new coach. He played me a lot my freshman year. I started. And then my sophomore year, I didn't play as much, but I learned he was just waiting to recruit his players. I wasn't one of his players. So I didn't play a lot my sophomore year. I played a little bit. That's when we went to the Final Four. But what made me the most valuable player on the team, based on what the coach said, is that I was the best teammate he had ever seen. Instead of me crying and bitching about not playing, I helped my teammates out. I pushed them harder in practice. That's being well-rounded. Now I walk around, man, I ain't playing, fuck this shit. I wasn't like that. I said, I'm here as a teammate. Sit up, bro. I'm here as a teammate. So I transferred to Eastern Michigan. While I'm sitting out from the transfer, the coach there gets fired. So I said, man, it's time for me to start focusing on other stuff. So I took my butt to the library, and I started to study. And I said, I'm going to be the nerdiest 6'9" cat you ever met. After that, I went on to work for the mayor of Detroit. And right now, I am currently the deputy director. So that means I oversee the operations for 5 counties, 1 million people. I have a staff of almost 100 people. And what we focus in on is helping people. Helping them not only to get a job, but to keep a job. Not only to just go out and get an education, but to get an education in an area that has growth potential. I want y'all to hear this last piece because I'm going to wrap it up on this. The world doesn't need more basketball players. The world needs better people. The jobs that you're going to be applying for in 2025 and 2030, 60% of them don't exist right now. If you would have told me 10 years ago you could make $100,000 by managing somebody's social media account, I would have laughed at you. There are people out here who are making 6 figures managing social media for major corporations. You need to find something that you're passionate about and stick to it. And it shouldn't be just basketball. And if you're not putting 4 to 6 hours a day in, you're lying to yourself. You're not that passionate. You're just doing this for fun. If you're passionate, put the time in and diversify your portfolio. Don't just make basketball the only thing you live and work by. Basketball is a game, and life ain't no game. Take it from the dude with a wife and 2 kids, a mortgage, work. It becomes real, but it's only as fun as you make it. I'm having a great time. I was in Philly this weekend, went to see the Roots, got to hang out, went and saw the Liberty Bell, took a picture with my lovely wife in front of the love sign. There's a lot of living out here, but it's how you invest in yourself. So I appreciate y'all taking these few minutes to hear me out. I'll answer any question you got for me. this is your opportunity. I ain't saying I'm gonna disappear, but you got me right here focused 8:30 at night, man. It's getting to be my bedtime and the game about to come on. What's up? Pardon me? I was in college for 5 years. I graduated with a bachelor's in social science, then I went back and got a master's in public administration. My goal is to do work locally, regionally, statewide, and retire from the federal government. I got a goal. I have a plan. And I'm planning my work and I'm working my plan as we speak. So I was in school for about, 5.5 years? Yeah, yep. 5 years. Then I went back and did another 2. Say it again. I loved Ohio State. I consider myself a Buckeye. They say once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. Here's what's up. I transferred out of ego. I thought I should have been playing more. But the truth of the matter is I wasn't that good. I should have sat my ass down somewhere and just kept being a good teammate. The coach said to me, I'll give you anything you want if you stay. I said, can you give me more playing time? He said, no. I said, I'm out. But he was talking material stuff. And had I done it right, I would have stuck around, but God don't make no mistakes.
You said it's important for these young men to find a passion other than basketball. Where are some easy places they can go to research some stuff they might like or some career paths?
The library. Like any of y'all go to the library. You're right, though. You all had a World Wide Web. This why Crooked Neck right here is going to have problems. Don't even know. Y'all got the World Wide Web in your hand. All you got to do is start to do some research. Think about the things you like. If you like being outside, activities to do outside. If you like working with your hands, skilled trades. If you like videography, this brother has a profession now, a trade, something he can go and make money doing. And he's close to a basketball, but he ain't shooting it. And doing all right in life. You go and you research. Part of research is understanding the game. If you want to really live about basketball, you need to be about the game and know all aspects of it. Leading scorer in all time, NBA, go. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Michael Jordan. I bet you in the hallways, y'all be loud as hell. I bet you when y'all outside playing and out here, when you calling for the ball, I bet you don't call for the ball like that. Do you? No? What's your question? Let me tell y'all a secret. I flunked the 6th grade. Not because I wasn't smart. Nintendo had came out. And I wanted to play Super Mario Brothers instead of doing my homework. And they flunked my ass. And I had to start with the 5th graders that was behind me that we used to smack in the back of the head. Now they were my classmates. But it taught me a valuable lesson. I've never had less than a 2.0 since 6th grade. I graduated college with a 3.8. I put the time in, I read books, and I don't read them because I have to go to class. I read them because I find something that I'm interested in. Judge Greg Mathis, anybody seen the Mathis show with the judge? He has a fantastic book. He's from Detroit. He's got a great story to tell. I like to read about people's stories, and that educates me on what to do and what not to do. You can learn from anybody. Don't believe you can never learn from somebody. You might be able to learn what not to do. Keep that in mind. You can learn something from everybody. The guy that's sleeping out on the street smelling like piss, if you take a few minutes, I bet you'll learn something, again, even if it's to learn what not to do. So yeah, I graduated with a 3.8, bro. That 2.0s, let me tell you what a C is. My grandfather used to tell me this. A C is for people who are the best of the worst and the worst of the best. C is just baseline. And I believe most of you are higher than baseline. Invest in yourself. Do that extra credit. Pay attention in class. Don't worry about your phone. Don't worry about what other people are doing. It could be a hurricane outside of these doors right now, but I'm focused on you all.
No other questions?
That's easy work.
All right, y'all. Y'all give it up.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
For those that listened, I appreciate it. One last announcement. For those that have been coming, been listening to the different good words, the different speakers, etc. If you enjoyed that, as I said before last week, I'm going to say it again on Friday. If y'all got an Instagram account, like Mentor2Youth, add it to your Instagram because we're going to be doing this weekly. It's good where we're going to be doing it weekly. We're going to feed you, bring other brothers like-minded that might have a career you aspire to be in, to be a part of this. So, like us, you'll get more information about it. Mentor2Youth.